क्यों कहते हैं कि मुस्लिम पर्सनल लॉ पे अटैक हो रहा है? आप एक बात ना, अगर आपको क्लियर कट लग रहा है कि ये बात जो है ये लड़कियों के फेवर में है, और अगर गरीबी की समस्या है तो पर्सनल लॉ तो सॉल्व नहीं होगी। अगर आप कह रही हैं कि पर्सनल लॉ
and I want to go back to the original argument that we made in the beginning of the show, that this is about child rights, this is about protection of child rights, irrespective of religion. There are various facets of uniform civil code that we can debate, but when it comes to having a uniform age of marriage and protecting child rights in this country, I think the answer is only one. We need a law or some clarity to come in from the Supreme Court of India. I thank all my panelists. With that, it's a wrap from my side.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Within a month of each other, two terrorists who planned to conduct bomb blasts in the country, hailing from South India, have been blasted by their own devices. On October 23, Jamisha Mubin was killed himself in a car blast when he was carrying a bomb in Coimbatore a day before Diwali at the Sangameswarar temple. Less than a month later, a resident of Shivmoga district, Mohammad Sharik, was injured when the improvised explosive device in a pressure cooker he was carrying in an auto rickshaw on November 19 exploded in Bengaluru. Both initial investigation says planned to conduct multiple bomb attacks in India. It is fortuitous for the public in Mangalore and Coimbatore. Then the accused were themselves hurt before they could do any serious damage. But what this does explode in our faces is the reality of radicalization, especially in states like Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and not just Kerala anymore. Most of these accused are linked to global terror networks, especially the ISIS and handlers from the Al-Hind. These men are young, educated, and highly radicalized. We've all seen what such terrorists are capable of. Is there a section in Indian politics and civil circles that wants to bury their heads in the sand and pretend like there is no issue to be worried about, or work overtime to deflect from troubling realities by making excuses or alibis for terror and terrorists? We will take those questions to our guests in a bit, but first let me just break down more about the accused Mohammad Sharik in this case. Of course, he's alive. The police is hoping he will spill more of the beans. Now, this man is a 24-year-old Shivmoga resident, but he's also been accused, and this is the horrifying aspect of this man. He's been accused in 3 previous cases. He was held actually in 2020 for anti-national graffiti in Mangaluru. He is also someone who has conducted quote-unquote a trial blast in September in Shivmoga, where he hails from, before he planned to conduct a full-fledged blast. Materials used to make explosive devices have been recovered from his rented home. Fake Aadhars, PAN card, even a debit card have been recovered from his home. And it is quite clear, and this is what the police say, he's clearly driven by ISIS ideology. Let's also take a look at the forgery and the deception involved in preparing for this blast and the geographical trail of Sharik. His first link is in Hubli because he forged the Aadhar card of a Hubli resident. This person, Prem Raj, had lost his Aadhar card months ago, but it was found with the terror accused. Then there is Coimbatore. Sharik travelled to the city in September. He in fact procured a mobile there, is what the agencies say. This was also procured using the Aadhar card belonging to someone else. In this case though, it was given willfully. Then there is Mysuru. The 4-tower dump shows that the accused stayed here. In fact, the police say he travelled extensively in Tamil Nadu over the last few months as well. But it's in Mysuru where he rented a flat using the previous forged Aadhar card and also used this house to make the bombs where the material was found. And then finally is Mangaluru, where the blast eventually took place. Not the intended blast, but the blast which nearly took the life of the accused himself and the auto rickshaw driver. Now, the police say that this suspect travelled from Mysuru to Bengaluru on Saturday morning, probably in a bus, and after deboarding that, he caught the auto rickshaw at the Naguri bus station. He was en route to some location. We don't really have the details of what he was planning, whether he was planning to go to the eventual location where he wanted to conduct the blast. We don't quite know yet, but we're waiting for more updates. But some more details are coming to light of his alleged handlers, and this gives you an idea why we're talking about the ISIS threat. Remember, probe is in an initial stage, but this is what we know right now. Now, Sharik's immediate handler was a man called Arafat Ali. He is also accused in 2 other cases, and I will come to that point, how So many people who are accused are really at large and they're managing to conduct or try to conduct more blasts. But the main man is this Abdul Mateen Taha. He was the main handler. He is a wanted ISIS operative. In fact, he is wanted since the Al Hind ISIS Bengaluru module case came to light in 2020. His house was actually raided by the NIA in May 2020. So he's been on the radar. He has a bounty of 3 lakh rupees on his head. And reports say that he's absconding. Some reports indicate that he could well be in Dubai. And finally, there is a man called Musaffir Hussain whose name has been taken by the police. He was in touch with the accused Sharik in the Coimbatore blast case. He is also accused in this blast and also the Al Hind ISIS Bengaluru module case. So a lot of the same names and figures are coming to light. You would remember that was the case as far as the Coimbatore blast was also concerned. There were individuals who had already been on the radar that were then conducting and regrouping. So there are serious concerns of how these men continued to be out and about despite priors. The big question we asked today is the ISIS threat undeniable?
ಆ ಪೇಷಂಟನ್ನು ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮಾತಾಡೋ ಸ್ಥಿತಿನಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಇದರ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯನ್ನು ಭೇದಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
These acts has been inspired and influenced by some terrorist organization which is having global presence. So Abdul Mateen Taha is also absconding and he is the main handler as of now, as per our information, of Sharik.
Couple of months ago, in the month of October on 23rd, I think, in Coimbatore, similar incidents has taken place. There also they had planned to blast around the temple.
By and large, the political reactions in response to what has come to light in Mangaluru have been fairly reasonable. But there is, of course, a political fight that did emerge initially. I'm going to keep the politics aside initially, but I will go to the larger question I asked. If there is some political cover that is provided when such cases come to light. Captain Ganesh Karnik is the BJP spokesperson joining us on the show. Nagaraju Yadav is from the Karnataka Congress. Rahul Ishwar, author and activist. Praveen Dikshit, former DGP. And Alok Bansal, India Foundation Director, are first joining us. I want to go to our experts first, and I want to go to Mr. Dikshit first, because the larger question that is coming to mind, Mr. Dikshit, is that how did people like this individual Sharik, or even others that the so-called Al Hind module were participating, how did they roam around freely? How are they free, out and about, despite the fact that this man was on the radar since 2020? His handler has been on the radar since 2020. Fine, he may have absconded overseas. But this guy, Sharik, was bold enough to carry out, quote-unquote, a trial blast in his home district of Shivmoga, and then was absconding, then was roaming around Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Is that not a major concern?
Oh, it's definitely a major concern. In fact, you may recall right from when the war was on in Syria side, the ISIS had been successful in recruiting several youth from Kerala. A few of them were also returned, but some of them they died. There were also some ladies which were forced to go to the war side.
Yes.
And they were also being used in a very wrong manner. It appears that Kerala, the borders of Kerala, including Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, all these 3 places, certain elements are definitely up to the mischief. And as you know, the PFI was also very active in these areas.
Yes.
In fact, even after the action against PFI, there must be a number of persons who have having links with PFI and in connection also with ISIS and Al-Qaeda, who have been operating from different places. And these are modules which come to light, but sometimes they manage to disappear and get lost in the wilderness.
Can I
In
just
fact,
ask you a very
the
direct
modus operandi
question, Mr.
appears.
Dikshit? If you don't mind, I'm interrupting you. Can I ask you a very direct question? And this has, in some states, there is a lackadaisical attitude when it comes to grabbing such quote-unquote suspects, people with priors. There's also a tendency to say that, oh, the laws are too harsh. So what if he wrote a graffiti against India saying that let's invite LET into India, or threatens the country and its sovereignty and its security, they shouldn't rot in prison. Is that a problem, you think? Because certainly in this case, there are so many individuals who have such dubious history.
Well, certainly the political patronage to a certain extent may be there, but the police administration in these states should have been firm and rejecting the pressures and taking action against such persons who are involved in the radicalized efforts. In fact, I would go a step ahead and say that the Organization of Muslim Federations, or the Federation of Muslim Organizations, or as well as their parents, they must come forward in a bold manner and raise their voice against such persons who are suspected and who are radicalized, because they know they are having a lot of information. So they need to come forward and say boldly that these are the persons whom we are doubting, and take action against them.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely, because ultimately it is Muslim boys who are being radicalized and are being pushed into either conducting bomb blasts or even become suicide bombers. Rahul Ishwar, I want to come to you because this case is also bringing us the memories of Coimbatore blast that are coming back to light. There is an allegation in Tamil Nadu especially that there is a tendency even by the administration to go slow or go soft or to underplay the threat. Do you think that's fair? That's a fair accusation to make, or is that just political accusations?
No, that's a fair accusation to make, and we should take it very seriously. See, coming from Kerala, let me point out three things. One, Kerala is home to nearly 27% of our Muslim brothers. We are home to nearly 1 crore Muslim brothers. Majority of our Muslim brothers and sisters, 99.99, are well integrated. We are a very great space for pluralism. At the same point of time, there is a strand of Islamist terrorism, which is a danger to India, Kerala, and the world itself. For example, Kerala CM, who is a left CM, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, accepted that nearly 100 people of Kerala base went and joined ISIS. A former leftist chief minister, Sri V.S. Achyutanandan, said there is a dubious conspiracy to make Kerala into an Islamic state in some years. Please remember, this was not told by anybody in the right, but a left wing, the senior most communist leader of India, Sri V.S. Achyutanandan.
And all of these warnings were given nearly a decade ago. What did we do since then? We're still fighting over how strong we need to act against this.
So that brings to you a very important question, because many people, out of the fear of vote bank or out of the fear of the so-called minority vote bank being offended, either go slow, either play the ball, either cover it up. But please remember, this is insulting our very own Muslim brothers.
Absolutely.
See, anybody, terrorism is a danger to the entire mankind. And please remember, even Muslim majority nations have taken strong steps against Islamist radicalism in their own nations. So our politicians, out of pseudo-secularism and vote bank consideration, should not shy away, because that is insulting our Muslims and that is also endangering India. So this is a very serious thing we should discuss, and we should find out solution. And radicalization, extreme Wahhabi or Islamist, whichever name you want to call it, but that radicalization is a serious issue, and forced conversions are a serious issue. This is one thing we need intellectual honesty and political honesty to deal with.
Yeah. Can I just point out, even though, like I said, eventually the responses to what has come to light in Mangaluru have been fairly mature. Remember, Karnataka is also almost in election mode because it's going to see a very highly fought state election soon. But D.K. Shivkumar, who's one of the tallest leaders of the Congress party in Karnataka, and I'm coming to you, he said, I don't know why they're giving a different color. First, government should come out with what is the fact of the blast. I don't know why they are linking it to a terror blast. Why are they telling terror? There should be proper evidence, and they should not keep the entire area under threat in the name of terrorism. Now, Nagaraju Yadav, my question to you as a Congress spokesperson is, why is D.K. Shivkumar even commenting on this?
No. Why commenting is it is in a democracy. He is heading the political party, and he has made a comment. He has made a comment in such a way that he wants the truth to be come out because this act is not acceptable to Congress. Even Shiv is not justifying this act.
No, he
This has to be
hasn't. I will
condemned. It will be
concede that.
condemned.
But why do
No,
politicians come
come to this
out?
man.
Once again, why do politicians come out and raise some sort of suspicion on what the police is doing or what the government is doing? My question is, what business does DK Shivkumar have? He's not a home minister. He is not in the police. He is not someone who's privy to information. What business does he have to even comment on what the police is saying?
1 minute. He had not called a press conference and said this voluntarily by himself. Some of the media persons connected to some media like you might have asked him a question, he might have answered this question.
So the choice is his, how he answers the question. The problem is not in the question that is posed.
No, allow me to complete. This is not fair.
Are you blaming the media for taking his reaction?
The question raised by one of a media persons
So
doesn't
what?
matter. Now the matter comes here very clearly. Shiv Kumar Sahab or Congress Party or Siddaramaiah Sahab or Karge Sahab will not justify any of this kind of act. It's a zero tolerance over terrorism act in Karnataka or anywhere in India. For us, the country becomes fast. Now I'm telling you very clearly, don't take it as a political statement. I am telling you as a spokesperson of Congress, it's a failure of intelligence, it's a failure of internal security of the country. I'm telling you from 2014 to 2020.
The reason I'm asking you this question, Mr. Yadav, is also because your Congress government under Siddaramaiah released hundreds of people with PFI connection from jails. Now, I want to understand on what basis was that amnesty given that we knew even back then what the PFI stood for and what its people were doing on the ground. We've got Siddaramaiah, your former chief minister, saying BJP, RSS, Bajrang Dal are like terrorists. He goes on to say, since we don't have any proof right now, we have not initiated any action. This is in 2018. There is no proof that PFI is behind the murder of RSS activist Rudresh. And we will not tolerate anyone who tries to disturb social harmony. My question is, this so-called religious divide, it comes from politicians, not from citizens when we speak of terror.
Don't agree that failure of intelligence and failure of intelligence.
I spoke about the intelligence failure at the very start of this discussion, but I'm not going to shy away from talking about political responsibility. You didn't hear what I was saying of your former chief minister and their comments, but let Ganesh Karnik come in now.
We don't accept this thing. We don't tolerate whichever group belongs to it. Whether it's Al-Qaeda, whether it's ISIS, or whether it's terrorists to the terrorists, should be hanged and shoot at sight.
Okay, Ganesh Karnik.
Yes, Shivani.
Is there a political, is there a tendency, Mr. Karnik, in India, for whatever reasons, we want to appear as very, very forgiving, we want to appear as open, or vote bank or other considerations, we don't want to be called Islamophobic, etc. But there's a tendency to deny the truth on the ground. The reality on the ground is that there is deep Islamic radicalization.
Yes, I totally agree with you. There is a deep radicalization based on a particular faith. And we have continuously denied this. Now, talking of Mangalore, and you asked the question, is there a police patronage and is there a political patronage? My dear friend, Mr. Nagraj's statement says that, yes, there has been kind of a political patronage for vote bank politics. I will quote few incidents which have happened in Mangalore since 2008.
You people have made Mangalore as a laboratory for testing your Hindutva.
No, Shivani, please ask him to keep quiet.
It is completely terrorist.
Okay, can I just come in? Mr. Yadav, I'm going to give him an opportunity to respond to what Mr. Ganesh Karnik says, but let him have his say. I'll come back to you.
See, in 2008, as early as 2008, 5 people were arrested from a place called Chembugude in Ullal for bomb manufacturing by NIA. 2013, in a flat in place called Athawar, the founder of Mujahideen, Yasin Bhatkal, his brother Riaz Bhatkal, and half a dozen people were arrested and with materials required for bomb manufacture. In 2013, again, from a place called Panjimogaru, Bihar police come and arrest a lady by name Aisha, who had transferred crores of rupees for terrorist activities. In 2015, a person by name Riaz Saidi, moving from Bhatkal to Dubai, was arrested by police at the airport on suspicion. In 2016, again, NIA arrests a person called Ajmal Huda. The same Sharik we are talking of was arrested for wall writing, which you mentioned about it. And moreover, one of the Congress MLA's converted daughter-in-law, Mariam, whose involvement in ICS was confirmed and NIA came and arrested. Besides this, Prashant Pujari and then Deepak Rao, Sharat Madiwal, and recently Praveen Nettar, they were murdered by PFI.
No, I appreciate you taking us through the history. But Mr. Karnik, the reality also is that the BJP has been in power for a few years now in Karnataka. And let me repose that question to you that I was asking our former DGP, our former cop on the panel. How are these people roaming free?
Exactly. I will tell you. See, during the past about 8-9 years, these activities had come down. Once the PFI has been banned, suddenly the activities of PFI and all those organizations linked with the terrorists have started activating, be it Coimbatore blast or be it what happened in Mangalore recently. Because of the involvement of the government and serious concern about all these activities, past 7-8 years, things had come down to almost a standstill.
Yes. Okay, let Mr. Yadav come in now. Mr. Karnik, just hold your thought. Let Mr. Yadav come in.
Mr. Karnik went through the history. What happened to the person who wanted to give do a bomb blast in the airport in Mangalore? Which group was involved there? He was not involved in the Sangha Parivar group. Let me not have
at all.
Game.
No.
Today I'm telling you, Sharik is the guy who in Shivamogga, where he was involved in one particular thing. He was involved in a trial of bomb blast in Shivamogga. Then he came to Mysore. How is it moving around so freely? How is it going in the bus? How is it going in the auto? Where there is no intelligence working in Karnataka state? Is the Home Minister is capable of handling the terrorist act or crime activities in Karnataka? Is he capable of doing it? Even at 7 o'clock, if a rape takes place in Mysore, he says that why does the girl go there? Is this an attitude they have? If some accident happens and a murder happens there, then they come and say that something else happened here. They keep giving colors to it. Basically, I'm telling you, Mangalore has become so sensitive only because it's politically BJP used it as a laboratory for their Hindutva activities.
Okay, very quickly, Mr. Karnik, please respond. I have to go to our last guest also who hasn't spoken.
Terrorism. I definitely condemn it. We want India to be peaceful and people should be secure.
But for that, Mr. Yadav, I'm sorry to say, politicians need to stop mincing their words. They need to stop giving alibis to radicals. They need to stop giving alibis to terrorists.
Shivani, this is the political patronage of the national party called Congress. They have always not in
this is not this act. We have zero tolerance for terrorism activities.
Please squarely condemn this Muslim Islamic radicalism. You condemn this. Openly condemn this. Let me see.
How the Sharik is moving from Shivamogga to Mysore, Mysore to Mangalore. How is he moving around? You please answer me. Where is your home minister working? Is your home minister working and handling this thing? Is your home minister keeping the state safe?
You condemn this Islamic terrorism, fair and proper. Why don't you condemn this? It is not Mangalore, it is happening in the entire country.
That's true. Actually, I want to take that point forward. While we are discussing, we are focusing on the pattern emerging in southern India.
Yes.
The reality of ISIS recruitment, self-radicalization, radicalization via the internet, it's a reality all across the country. It's a reality all across the world today.
Shivani, ask him to condemn this.
Sir, I cannot waste time till he does or does not do. He has said very clearly that they do not condone any of these activities. They condemn it. They should be hanged. We'll hold them to their word. But we do know the history of statements that have come in from the Congress party or other parties. Anyways, Alok Bansal, I want to come to you. You look at the pattern that is emerging. I have twofold question for you. One, especially as one of our experts said, after the ban on the PFI, that was mingling very freely in social circles and had a legitimacy of sorts and had a bravado, thinking that nothing could happen to them. Do you think post the ban on them, there is a heightened sense that something needs to be done in India and everybody is activated? Secondly, you look at the pattern, young, upwardly mobile, educated young men from the Muslim community are getting radicalized to the extent they either want to blow themselves up or want to blow their fellow Indians up. Is this threat just too real to ignore anymore?
Radicalization has been a big problem, not only in India, but specifically in South India. It's been growing by leaps and bounds. And most of the people who are radicalized are educated people who have been radicalized by a narrative which is seeped in Islamic theology and has been propagated through the means of internet. And this was seen even earlier when Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi had captured Mosul. People, youngsters from South India, from places like Hyderabad and other places, actually wanted to go and fight there. And this process has been going on for a long time. Unfortunately, certain members of a security establishment and political establishments have not been seeing the threat that emanates from these jihadis.
Why is that?
Now the ban on PFI has actually forced many of them to come up front, because with the ban of PFI and investigations going on, many of them fear that their whole network will get unearthed. And that's why I think there is a desperation amongst these people who are associated with PFI to come out or move around or indulge in acts that, like in this particular case, I don't know whether he was carrying the bomb and it exploded. It was a deliberate aim or it was an accident.
No, this was clearly, he was clearly carrying the improvised device in that auto, possibly carried it in the bus from Mysuru to Mangaluru. And then it exploded, possibly because of the heat or the friction, is what the police believe. So it wasn't the intended target, of course, quite like in the case of Coimbatore. And in both of these cases, maybe not so much in Mangaluru, but in Coimbatore, there was a clear attempt in the first 48 hours to downplay what had happened. They couldn't eventually beyond a point. But Alok Bansal, you made a point about that security establishment has not been able to see the threat. I wonder why. Let me take that to the former DGP on our panel, Mr. Dixit. Is the security establishment not serious enough about the threat, or are they underestimating this threat in India?
No, in fact, you see, right from 2014-15 onwards, the threat of radicalization very much was possible, very much was visible, and action was initiated against them. In fact, a lot of initiatives were taken, but in between, there were, after this ISIS was completely defeated from Syrian side, there was perhaps some kind of you can say negligence, particularly in South Indian side, and that was taken advantage by the PFI. Through their PFI network, they spread their tentacles. Now, in fact, this ban against PFI should have been initiated, I would say, much before, right from the time of 2016-17 onwards. Now, what has happened is, though the PFI has been banned, their tentacles or their persons are available everywhere.
True.
They are available in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. A few of them have been arrested, but now they have spread so deep, and the radicalization is also so complete that to trace them and to nail them has become a great or rather difficult
task. And let's not
task.
forget, as I mentioned at the start of the show, it is only sheer luck that these two individuals were not able to carry out the blast that they intended to carry out and hurt other people. They got hurt instead. Well, that's karma for you.
Fact, you see,
but yes, Mr. Dixit, please finish.
Be strengthened in all these areas, and that will come forward with the help of local Muslims as well. So the confidence of the Muslims has to be restored in the system, and they need to be more vocal to point out certain elements which are spoiling the name of the entire community, and radicalizing the youth.
Absolutely.
It is against particularly the youth which have to be targeted by giving them the proper analysis, by telling them this is not the correct way, and this will end up not only yourself, but also your entire
the sense that I'm getting is
that
the community in itself needs to take certain responsibility as well. And Rahul Ishwar, I have discussed this even at the cost of, being disliked for saying this, but I don't think that there's any point in being politically correct anymore. The community needs to come out and make it absolutely clear that they are not going to tolerate this. If we can have people come out and create ruckus on the streets for a Nupur Sharma comment, we need to see the Muslim community also come out and say we don't stand for terror, but we don't see that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Thank you for that courage, and thank you for saying it aloud.
No, I have said it. People may dislike it. But my point is, Rahul,
this is what
add
we need
to that, and also the fact that as someone who comes from South India, where we hear about how peaceful the society is, how educated the people are, how, how their interests in life are completely different. There used to be this binary, right, between South India and North India. The problem is that now South India is becoming almost a hub of terror. That's a problem.
We should stop it because it will affect everyone. And you know, as you rightly said, Sufi Mahapanchayat of India has categorically said even some people in Saudi are funding, you know, terrorism in India and world around. We have a very great pluralistic Muslim league. We have MES. We have an evolving Jamaat-e-Islami. We have such mainstream Muslim organization. You know, they are working towards de-radicalization. And you know, we should be open and honest in telling this. We should call it for what it is. It is Islamist terrorism or Islamist radicalism is a truth.
And let's not say things like terror has no religion, but it has a religion when it is a Hindu activist.
Let us not sugarcoat.
I mean, that's just bogus now. If religious theology is being used to conduct terror and terror attacks and for radicalizing people, I'm sorry, terror has a religion. Religion has a face.
Just one more submission. We have the experience of Nimisha Fatima, Sonia Sebastian, Hindu and Christian girls who were forcefully converted and they are ending up in Afghan jail. They were going to Syria. See, these are serious, real problems. And I'm sorry to openly say this, but everyone knows in Kerala that, you know, one girl, Nimisha Fatima, is the brother or sister of a major in Indian army. So there is a deep radicalization issue we should be honest about. Yes, you
possibly what you're suggesting is that this could happen to anybody. If you look at the backgrounds of these people who are now accused in bomb blasts, who are actually conducting bomb blasts, are terrorists. They're all educated individuals. In fact, they have higher education, not just, you know, school education.
And rather than being politically correct, let us be intellectually honest, because bombs don't differentiate between Hindus, Muslims or Christians. You know, bombs are truly non-religious, non-political. It will burn us everyone. So it is danger to entire mankind and we should be politically honest rather than being merely politically correct.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give Mr. Yadav and Mr. Karnik 30 seconds each. Sir, please, I do not have more time. Mr. Yadav, you wanted to come in.
No. My way of saying is this: the government should take it more seriously and handle this. The Indian land will not allow any terrorism activity. It should be zero tolerance for terrorism. Where the community should come forward, whichever community for that matter, which their youngsters are getting involved in this kind of attitude, radicalism activities, they should come forward and put an end to it. And they say no space for such radicalization or such kind of terror activity in India.
Fair enough.
Whether it's Hindu or
we would like that implemented when leaders give sound bites, as in the case of Dilkesh Shivkumar in this case, or when they speak at rallies and when they go and fight elections. Mr. Karnik, I have 20 seconds left for you. Mr. Karnik.
Shivani, I compliment you for that bold statement. It is Islamic radicalization and we need to condemn it, first of all. Secondly, political parties, when in power, should not take such stupid decisions like releasing PFI people just because of political patronage. And terrorism, and terrorist is a terrorist. We have to condemn it unequivocally without any confusion.
Yeah. You know, there used to be a period in Indian history, in fact, recent Indian history and politics, where people were even giving alibis to terrorists, or they were romanticizing terrorists, or they were rationalizing terror. Oh, these people pick up the gun because so-and-so, this has happened to them.
Not at
all. All of that has fallen by the wayside. What we know is that this is just plain cold religious radicalization. You may have had whatever life you had. Nothing or something could have happened to you. Nothing justifies you, becoming a terrorist. Because if everybody poor in this world became a terrorist, or somebody who has faced some injustice became a terrorist, we could all become terrorists. But we don't. So let's not make those rationalizations for terror. I've run out of time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Moving on, election heat may be rising in Gujarat, but the national capital is not too far behind. Ahead of MCD polls in Delhi, BJP Aam Aadmi Party showdown escalated today with the former releasing a sting video claiming Aam Aadmi Party top leaders are selling tickets for the upcoming civic polls. Now, the sting was allegedly shot by a former Aam Aadmi Party worker herself, Bindu Sriram. She alleges that AAP leaders have sold tickets for the MCD polls to rich people who can afford it, neglecting their own leaders who have worked hard on the ground. The allegation also is that top leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party like Atishi and Saurabh Bhardwaj, Minister Gopal Rai, were on the committee that was ultimately taking the cash for tickets. Reacting to the charges, Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has said that the BJP is making Manohar Kahani due to the fear of losing elections. But this is one in line of many corruption charges against the Aam Aadmi Party top brass now. Remember, Manish Sisodia himself, Satyendra Jain, Kailash Gehlot are already under scanner over alleged graft charges. So the BJP's new claim, will it hurt the Aam Aadmi Party's prospects in the upcoming civic polls, and will their overall anti-corruption image? We'll take that to our guests in just a bit.
गोपाल राय, सौरभ भारद्वाज, दुर्गेश पाठक, आतिशी मारलेना और आदिल खान जो एपीएमसी के चेयरमैन हैं। ये 5 लोगों की कमेटी है, तो इनके सामने सारे नाम जाएंगे।
हमारे पास काम है, उनके पास गालियां हैं। हमने जनता का प्यार जीता है, वो केवल नफरत करना जानते हैं, वो नफरत बांट रहे हैं।
जो आम आदमी पार्टी कर रही है पूरे दिल्ली में, टिकट बेचकर आपके सामने एक प्रत्याशी लेकर के आ रही है। हर कार्यकर्ता हर सीट पे जमीनी तौर पे काम कर रहा है और उसकी बिल्कुल भी पूछ नहीं है, और इसके एवज में टिकट दे दी जाती है उन लोगों को, उन धनवान लोगों को जिनके पास पैसा है।
आम आदमी पार्टी ने जब टिकट दिए, किसी को भी 1 रुपए की टिकट, 1 रुपया लेके किसी को टिकट नहीं दिया है। यहाँ पे पैसे से टिकट नहीं मिलती है, ग्राउंड वर्क करने से, मेहनत करने से, जनता की सेवा करने से टिकट मिलती है।
Will this allegation really sting the Aam Aadmi Party's chances? That, of course, is wanting to dislodge the BJP from the MCD. Let's take that to our guest. Vineet Goenka is a BJP representative joining us. Ravi Srivastava is political analyst. I must mention here the Aam Aadmi Party declined to be part of this debate. Kailash Adhikari is from Governance Now, and Bindu Sriram is the complainant against the Aam Aadmi Party. She has worked for the Aam Aadmi Party, but she was, as you saw, today making that complaint. She's the one who has shot or conducted this sting operation. Bindu, let me start with you. I'm sure you must have heard that the Aam Aadmi Party has completely rejected these allegations. What will you say this evening then?
How can they reject? When I have the evidence, when I have the clippings, and which I think the organization people itself, the Aam Aadmi people itself said that who people are involved and what is the committee called and how many people are involved in this. How they can deny?
They're saying हमने कोई पैसा नहीं लिया, कोई मनी ट्रेल तो आपके स्टिंग में नजर नहीं आया, सिर्फ बात ही हुई ना।
तो बात हुई तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं ना कि I should give money. This is something that sting's been done by me, that I want to expose this. First of all, I want to expose it to the chief of Aam Aadmi Party, the president of Aam Aadmi Party, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. But he denied to see me. Why?
क्या बोला उन्होंने? और बाकी आम आदमी पार्टी लीडर्स ने क्या बोला? आपने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में ये बोला था बिंदु जी that you tried to take it to the local leaders, your immediate leaders, but even they were not concerned that tickets were being sold?
Yes. When Puneet Gupta, who is VCI, very important position in Aam Aadmi Party, we call it Vidhan Sabha coordinator in charge. When he got in touch with me and suddenly started asking money against the ticket, I was surprised to know about it. Then I suddenly thought कि मुझे मेरे superior जो है इसमें बहुत senior है आम आदमी पार्टी के, who we call it लोक सभा अध्यक्ष, Mr. R.R. Pathania. I should confirm from him. I should take green signal. The kind of the sting which I was doing, I want to take a green signal from him. तो मेरे तो पैरों तले जमीन ही सरक गई जब मुझे पता चला कि हाँ जी ले लीजिए, पुनीत मेरा ही आदमी है, मैंने ही उसे सबसे मिलवाया है. He is very powerful now. Rakhi Birla is also involved, and there is a committee of 5 people, and he named everyone from Gopal Rai to Durgesh Pathak to Saurabh Bharadwaj to Atishi Marlena, Adil Khan, everyone.
So
the sting was there in front of everyone.
Bindu ji, before I open this up to our other guests, I just want to ask you that there will be allegations made that you have done this as some sort of a deal with the BJP, that all of this was planned so that you can sting the Aam Aadmi Party, you were playing a double game, and now just, on the threshold of the MCD elections, you are releasing this sting. How will you respond to that?
I would have done it on or before 14th if I could do it. I could have shaken hands with BJP on or before 14th then in that case. My message is very open to the public of India that don't trust Arvind Kejriwal. See, बहुत बड़े धोखेबाज, बहुत भ्रष्ट पार्टी है ये, जिनका काम सिर्फ और सिर्फ पैसे बटोरना है.
Okay, well,
I wanted to give this message to the whole public, the entire Indians.
Okay, fair enough. Now that's precisely at the heart of the allegations that the Aam Aadmi Party is facing. This is one in line of those allegations. Vineet Goenka, let me come to you. The point here is that how serious of a damage do you think this allegation or sting will do in the public's mind? Because allegations that tickets are bought or sold actually come from all parties. It is not really peculiar to the Aam Aadmi Party or to 2022. So what kind of a damage at all do you think this sting operation will do? Public's memory is anyways fickle.
Ram Ram to you, to your panelists and all the audience who are watching us right now. I think one thing is very sure, that I would like to congratulate Binduji for doing this sting and also coming on camera so that people know what is the truth. A. B. In the last few months, rather last few years, Arvind Kejriwal and his gang has been exposed, be it be the massage in Tihar jail, be it be the liquor gate scandal which they have done, or the Jal Board Ghotala, and now this ticket selling thing. People come to know about this. And I think people of Delhi would ask this question to him while voting on the day of voting also. So one thing is very clear. Arvind Kejriwal has to answer a lot, not only in the liquor gate, not only in the Jal Board Ghotala, not only in the Sukesh matter, but now in this particular case also where Ms. Bindu faced this particular situation.
But Mr. Goenka, while I agree with you that in a lot of the allegations sometimes, or these kind of stings in the past that we've seen, for example, even in the liquor gate issue, we don't know who's conducted it. It does lend credibility when the face who was associated with the Aam Aadmi Party comes out and herself does the sting and exposes it. She's effectively a whistleblower. So you're right, it does lend credibility to that. But the Aam Aadmi Party, which has refused to be part of this panel today, always says that none of these allegations are actually proven. That they're being bombarded just because they're wanting to expand to Gujarat. And of course, they're wanting to dislodge you from the MCD now. How do you respond to that, Mr. Goenka?
See, it is very simple. I was actually hurt when I saw Arvind Kejriwal's deputy Manish Sisodiya doing a PowerPoint presentation on equitable distribution of liquor. I thought, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, maybe in a month's time or a year's time, they would do a presentation on equitable distribution of water, education, pollution, something like that. But then you saw the statements coming from the middlemen, the Vijayas and all these other people. And then you saw the video of Satyendra Jain coming from Tihar jail. And on that, when he spoke that it is not massage, but a therapy, there, people who have a common knowledge also that understand that this party is made up of thugs, they are goons who only work for money, whether they throw people out of these schools. If you have seen, several students have been thrown out of the schools because that's the cartel which runs in education of Arvind Kejriwal. Then it'd be a liquor gate. And now here Binduji has faced this particular situation where clearly you can hear that two middlemen, if my names, what I heard is not wrong, Dinesh Shroff and Puneet Goel talking about 80 lakh rupees or plus, and that too in one go. They have quoted Rakhi Birla, they have quoted this names of Gopal Rais of this thing, and probably Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal should come out and they should speak.
Well, they have just rejected the allegations. They've refused to be part of this show as well. But let me go to Ravi Srivastav, who's a sympathizer of the Aam Aadmi Party and has been associated with them in the past. Mr. Srivastav, don't you think that an allegation like this that comes from a worker that has worked with the Aam Aadmi Party before is actually quite damaging? And this strikes at the very heart of clean politics that the Aam Aadmi Party came into politics with.
Shivani, first of all, I was hearing the lady, some Miss Bindu Shriram. She was with Congress earlier. Just a 1.5 year before she appeared in AAP, and now she has again been removed, I think, from there. So she is no more a AAP neta for that matter. But here the issue is that sting. Now BJP has got nothing to show. BJP has got only mounts of these mountains of these scrap, kuda, and they are 3 full. They are public to see that. If they say that they have done some work in 15 years, why don't they showcase it? Why don't they show that the parks which they have made? Why don't they show that they are MCD employees, their wages have not been denied? What have they done on their schools? What have they done on their hospitals, dispensaries which were run by the MCD? And what have they done on the feriwalas, the vendors from whom they were making all money, some 2 lakh crore rupees in last 15 years? They don't talk about that.
Fair enough. But what about this? Can a party that is so based on anti-corruption image choose to ignore these allegations?
No, not at all. First thing is that every day they bring out one sting. This is all, these stings have got a life of only 10 days because after that the issue will be over.
So they bring out these videos are fake, fabricated, concocted. This is what I want to say. And
but this तो even the Aam Aadmi Party hasn't said that they are fake or concocted or forged. ये तो उन्होंने भी नहीं बोला है.
मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना आपको, मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ because these are made by the BJP only. Every channel says video provided by the BJP. Can I ask the BJP from where they got it? What is the authentication
this is
of that?
precisely what I talked about, Ravi Srivastava. I think you could hear me then. I precisely mentioned this, that in the liquor gate issue, we have seen stings. We don't know where they come from. In this case, Ms. Bindu is owning up to the sting. She's conducted it. We know where it comes from.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. What I'm saying is, all these people are planted by BJP.
Okay, I will give Ms. Bindu an opportunity to respond to that. One, that she's been party hopping and that she's been planted by the BJP. Kailash Adhikari has not spoken. Kailash Adhikari, my fundamental question to you remains the same. Does this hurt, especially the Aam Aadmi Party, whose main premise is anti-corruption? Or in the public's mind, everybody who's a politician is the same? Do you think this will do any damage to the Aam Aadmi Party in the MCD elections?
Of course it will, Shivani, because see, the Aam Aadmi Party, when it came to power, the entire communication of USP of that party was anti-corruption, that it does not tolerate corruption, zero corruption. That was the policy. And of late, if you see in the last 6 months, I mean, numerous cases have come out which are also being investigated by our federal agencies, be it the liquor gate, wherein the topmost agency of this country, the Central Bureau of Investigation, is interrogating and investigating Manish Sisodia. Satyendra Jain, one of their ministers, is in jail, who still continues to be the minister while being in jail, is also inside under a PMLA case, denied bail. Secondly, then we could see the preferential treatment given to him inside being lodged in the Tihar jail, which is also in the public eye. And now this, that, tickets are being sold. So the entire plank has now crumbled. And I believe the Aam Aadmi Party has turned itself into a conman party, which now the people of Delhi, it is in front of their eyes. And this will definitely damage in the upcoming MCD polls, which are just slated to happen on 4th of December.
Okay, Binduji, you must have heard what Ravi Srivastava said, that you were first with the Congress, then you came to the Aam Aadmi Party only recently, and you were removed, or you were not in favor in the Aam Aadmi Party. This is why you have done this begrudgingly against the party.
Although when this sting came today by say 10:30, then only from the two main groups I'd been removed by one of the official, and very, very sad to know about this. And this entire sting everyone knows about, from Arvind Kejriwal to Gopal Rai to Durgesh Pathak. Let them come and speak to me. Speak, sit in front of me and speak. The sting is there in front of you. It's a proper video footage in front of you. Where I am not saying any name. This has been named by my the organization people of Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay.
How can you say?
Ravi
I joined about 1.5 years back, but there are many people who joined recently and got ticket. I was top on survey. He has been.
One of the allegations. One second, Ravi Srivastava. Instead of one second, Ravi Srivastava, I think I will just caution you.
Let me speak. Let me finish.
No, one second. I will caution you, Ravi Srivastava. Don't focus on the individual here, and I don't think you should go just questioning her credentials. She's an individual. Respect her. Just focus on the question she's raising. The sting is what it is. It shows what it does. Why doesn't the Aam Aadmi Party leader speak to her? Why don't they take it seriously?
See, first of all, these are the people. I'm not an individual. I have nothing to do with the individual. See, what I'm saying is this such kind of videos are all fake. This earlier one you have seen, one Gopal Khari and Shobha Khari. That lady gave the money. I am asking a question. When a corruption, the person who is giving the bribe and the taking the bribe are equally guilty. Now here this lady says, I was demanded a money. Bring some evidence of that. These such kind of videos are not evidence. They are not
what you say? Should I take money? Should I receive money first?
No, you don't have to. You make a complaint to the proper agency. Go there.
How can you say this is a fake video? If you'll even Aam Aadmi Party official came with even Aam Aadmi Party official, the top official came with this conference again immediately after this conference. And they never
I'm-
denied that this is a fake video. If you'll say this,
Binduji, can I ask you a question? I'm running out of time. Binduji, I want to ask you a question. One question that does come to mind is, Ravi Srivastava, 1 second. Binduji, one question that does come to mind is, क्या इस स्टिंग की वैल्यू ट्रूली 10 दिन की होगी या आप इसको परस्यू करेंगे प्रॉपर कंप्लेंट करके
बिल्कुल परस्यू करूंगी
एंटी करप्शन ब्यूरो के साथ या किसी और एजेंसी के साथ इसको परस्यू करेंगे
बिल्कुल परस्यू करूंगी मैं। आप ये देखेंगे ये इनका अभी का खेल नहीं है, ये 8 महीने पहले 110 टिकट बुक कर चुके हैं, बेच चुके हैं। ये पूरा स्टिंग में दिखाया जा रहा है और ये मैं नहीं बोल रही हूं, आम आदमी पार्टी के ऑफिशियल्स बोल रहे हैं। और आप देखिए ना, आर पठानिया, उनके रिलेशन देखिए आप अरविंद केजरीवाल जी से, हमने बराबर फोटोज दिखाई हैं। कैसी बात कर रहे हैं कि फेक वीडियो, कैसे बोल दिया इन्होंने फेक वीडियो?
नहीं, फेक तो मुझे नहीं लगता आम आदमी पार्टी ने बोला है, और फेक कोई बोल के हट भी नहीं सकता, वो तो एजेंसी डिसाइड करेगी कि फेक है या नहीं है। रवि श्रीवास्तव, लेट्स नॉट वेस्ट टाइम ऑन दैट, दैट्स नॉट अ वेरी कोजेंट आर्गुमेंट। No, 1 second, Binduji. Vineet Goenka wants to come in. Vineet Goenka, ultimately, it boils down to the fact whether something will happen or not. अगर इतना serious issue है और इतना serious matter है, तो action कब होगा? कौन सी agency करेगी?
Shivani ji, one thing I feel ashamed on being on this panel where Ravi ji used words like this lady frustrated. I think he has to, apologize to this lady. Two, they say that proxies make more noise than the originals, and that has been proved here right now. But anyway, Vasuli Bhaijan, Arvind Kejriwal is known to do this kind of things. We have seen in Liquorgate how many crores were passed on to him. We have seen in the Hawala racket, which Satyendra Jain was involved, or the Sukesh case which has come up where 2 crore rupees were demanded per month for him being this. So now Vasuli Bhaijan has a duty to answer to the people. He has to come and tell what happened, whether it was he who has demanded it, whether it is Rakhi Birla, whether it is Durgesh Pathak, or whether it is these two gentlemen who were sitting in front of Binduji.
Okay, fair enough. I've run out of time. I have to leave it at that. All of these are allegations. They should be pursued. Only then the public can come to a conclusion whether the allegations are true or not. But certainly in politics, perception also matters. Your moral accountability also matters. You can't just shun away from allegations and just say that we are not responsible or not accountable or answerable. That also doesn't work. I leave it at that. I have to slip into a very short break. A big thanks to our guests for joining us. On the other side, we'll get you the day's biggest story.
A quick update of some of the biggest stories we're tracking from across the country. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh has slammed the BJP for criticizing Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra, saying, how can they ever understand a yatra as their organization actively opposed Bharat Chodo in 1942. Supreme Court has sought a response from the centre and the Delhi government on the plea of conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar. The response comes on Sukesh's plea that he should be shifted from Mandoli jail in the city to any other prison in the country due to security threat. Delhi LG VK Saxena has approved the filing of a review petition in the Supreme Court over 2012 Chawla rape and murder case. The petition challenges Supreme Court's decision to acquit the 3 convicts in the 2012 Chawla rape and murder case who were awarded the death sentence. Azamgarh police have arrested a youth for strangling ex-girlfriend and then chopping her body into pieces. The 24-year-old prince strangled the victim Aradhana Prajapati with the help of his cousin. At least 48 vehicles were damaged and more than 20 people have suffered injuries after a tanker crashed into several vehicles at Pune's Nawale Bridge. And finally, I'm leaving you with the visuals of the spectacular sight of meteors lighting up the sky over Norway. Thanks a lot for watching.
Namaste and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Anand Narsimhan and we will train the spotlight on the Bengaluru blast, which comes very close on the heels of what happened in Coimbatore. So Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, south of the Vindhyas, these 3 states, is there a connect? Is there a nexus network of highly radicalized individuals who are also highly educated, highly motivated, and have been prepped and been preparing over the past few years? Are these modules are all connected, or should they be looked at in isolation? More importantly, the modus operandi of these so-called individual outfits or radicalized outfits, be it Assam, be it Madhya Pradesh, be it Uttar Pradesh, be it south of the Vindhyas in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, have they started or perfected the art of camouflage, using social media platforms, encrypted platforms, and also figured out this narrative of camouflaging their identities across communities? So these are ISIS radicals, but they are having identities which give the portrayal prima facie of a Hindu extremist act. Is there perhaps an attempt to revive the narrative of the past of saffron terror, Hindu extremism, etc.? Or is this their way of trying to subvert the system and use it to its own, to their own advantage? There are plenty of aspects to talk about, but the rising concern and the core concern remains the rise of radicals within, and that too towards the south of Bharat. We've got news just coming through. Our investigations editor Manoj Gupta getting us these details. So let's start straight with that, ladies and gentlemen. Big news coming in. So here's a CNN News 18 exclusive on the Bengaluru blast, and this is as per top intelligence sources. Our investigations editor Manoj Gupta and of course Arunima getting us, our editor Home Affairs, getting us a lot of these details. So let's try and understand what Manoj Gupta is getting us about Sharik. Sharik was very, very careful about the use of technology. He never used a phone in his own name and always used fake IDs, ladies and gentlemen. So that is one aspect, and SIMs acquired from those identities. He was radicalized since 2018. So 4 years this entire process of radicalization has been on. He was more radical since 2020 in the Lashkar case. And his idea was to keep on carrying out attack. His idea was to keep on carrying on attacks without coming into the picture. He has a small gang and all the members were given isolated tasks. The group Al-Hind planned a major attack very soon. These members were from this Al-Hind module, Al-Hind Trust in Bangalore 2020, and their mastermind has got a 3 lakh reward on his head, bounty on his head, and the connect is there with Mateen, who's now currently operating from the Middle East. But Sharik also wanted to do something before his death. So they all had decided koi na koi karnama karke jayenge. So they were ready and they knew that the end goal on the road that they were in was death, but they wanted to create damage. They had identified places of high impact and agencies feel the interrogation will now be crucial to evolve and derive many more linkages and other members. Now here are 2-3 aspects which need to be noted, ladies and gentlemen. The use of SIM cards, the use of fake IDs, and the use of encrypted social media platforms which provide you privacy, but they are being used actively by members who are enemies of the state. So how do you deal with this? Fake Aadhaar cards, and also using the good Samaritanism in a Bharatiya to help somebody procure phone cards on their identities and go ahead and commit acts of treachery against the state. So all of that also very interesting dimensions. But let's try and understand the terror tentacles and how this is a multi-city trail, ladies and gentlemen. Sharik is from Shimoga. Now there was ruckus in Shimoga, 15th of August, post the Independence Day. There was ruckus, there were fights in Shimoga, and after that, September 3rd and 4th, Coimbatore, he moves. Mohammed Sharik visits the city of Coimbatore. So from Shimoga, he heads to Coimbatore. He is believed to have met multiple persons on logistical support. Was he part of that same module, ISIS radical module in Coimbatore? Is there a connection to Hashim? Is there a connection to Mubin? These are all aspects of investigation, and somewhere one gets the feeling right down near gut instinctively कि ये सब कहीं ना कहीं जुड़े हुए हैं. Investigation has to prove it. September, other Tamil Nadu cities, Nagercoil, Ooty, where he procured one fake Aadhaar card. So he moves around. He visits Kerala. He goes to Alua and Kochi. And then after that, he visits Karnataka again towards the latter half of September, where in Hubli he procures another fake Aadhaar card that he procures. Then on the 20th of September, there is a blast in Shivamogga in Karnataka, an IED made from gelatin sticks, potassium, etc. The blast is similar to Mangaluru blast. It happened on the banks of the Tungabhadra. Was that just practice? There were 2 people arrested at that time. One of them who ran away was this man, Sharik. Police probing if this was a trial run for the Mangaluru attack, and Sharik was named absconder in that case. End September, he returned to Mysuru, procured raw material and assembled the ID over 2 months. And 23rd October, there is a blast in Coimbatore, 1 killed, and the person Mubin linked to the Sri Lanka suicide bomber, and he is also linked to Sharik, probing links whether or not they were all connected. Now there is this region which is in Coimbatore, highly dense population of Muslims there, and Hashim, the Easter bomber, was the one who was radicalizing, and he was preaching actively and moving actively in that region. So are they all connected somewhere? That's something which is part of investigation. Mangaluru ID blast in an auto rickshaw, that Sharik was injured in hospital, allegedly carrying the IED to a blast location. So he conducts a trial run. Interestingly, the phosphorus that he is used along with the gelatin sticks is using by shaving matchsticks. So he's bought lots of matches from different places, collecting the matches, and he spent time shaving the phosphorus at the tip of these matches to get enough phosphorus, because phosphorus is incendiary.